So welcome everyone to Course in Miracles Satsang, just with Kate. It's simply just being truly helpful, nothing special, but just joining in the one mind, just blessing, extending love. So let's once again just start the meeting with extending love to our brothers. This is the way we let go of special love, special personal love, and move into a different type of love, which encompasses all equally with its holiness. So the more we practice this, the more we get into the experience of this love. Just feel it extending out from you to everyone in the group. Just feel it touching them, blessing them. Don't be interested in outcomes. Don't be interested in whether they're receiving it. Your only interest should be extending it. Extending love, pure love, love without conditions, love that encompasses all. Get into the habit of feeling it enveloping everyone. And then going out to everyone. Of course, there's no one outside us, but this is the way we come inward, by using what we think is outside of us as forgiveness. Because the ego mind has its basis as separation, and it always has to have some image that it doesn't like. So in this way, if we embrace all and envelop all in this love, there is no belief in separation in our mind. So these little exercises do a lot of correction, even if we can't see it or feel it just yet. It all works together to correct our perception. I just feel like bringing what we call every person, but there are no people. It just seems like there is. And while we think there are, we need to do this. And it works to erase the egoic mind that desires separation. So just bring everyone into your heart. Think of anyone, anywhere, politicians, people that start wars, people that you don't like. I want you to bring them into your heart and bless them. They are not the person. They are not their personality. They are not doing anything, because who we are cannot be threatened or destroyed or changed in any way. What we are seeing is a dream of death, a dream of suffering, a dream of attack and counterattack. And God, being pure love, has nothing to do with attack, suffering, and death. So what we are seeing must be a hallucination in our mind. It can't have any reality in truth. It can seem to. But as course students, we are now using forgiveness to deny that this is reality and come to confirm to ourselves that our true reality is love, joy, peace, and freedom as spirit, not as a body. We don't deny the body, we just deny that anything outside it can affect it. We don't deny the world, we just deny that the world can change our peace. So extending love is a good practice. So if you are going to meet somebody that you find difficult to be with because the ego has lots of beliefs and thoughts about it, the ego is not you, it's a thought system we're listening to. So when you go to meet someone and you're listening to the ego, because you don't realise you've got another voice to listen to, you can just use this extension of love as a way to very simply just repeat, extend love, extend love, extend love, and keep repeating that in your mind as you meet them. And then when you meet up with them, do it. Do what we do here and just feel this love, embracing them, this tender love of God's. And you'll be in your right mind then, and the right words will come through, the right actions will come through, because you're not listening to the ego. We have to intentionally not be interested in the ego mind. We have to become, over time, more able to see the ego and what it's up to, its antics. It's not us. It's not our thoughts. And the power of decision is my own. So I have the power to say I'm not interested in those beliefs and those thoughts. I'm only interested in the love of God and extending it. And by doing this, I experience peace. And in that peace, others can be brought into our peace and be healed by our demonstration. And it's really as simple as that. You'll be given words if you need words. But a lot of the time, or for me, has been to listen. I had to really learn to listen without trying to have my ego getting ready for what to say. And it's not my ego, it's the ego, because we all have the same ego and we all have the same Holy Spirit mind. So today's talk and meditations will be based around the part of the text of the Course in Miracles called I Need Do Nothing. We'll go through this. I don't know whether we're going to go through all of it. We'll just feel into what to read, what to focus on, because these are passages that you can read for yourself afterwards, and maybe these meditations around this can help you to really feel into exactly what Jesus is asking us to do, because it's very, very misconstrued to think that you're just asked to sit around and do nothing all day. That's got nothing to do with this. So I'll just start the reading. It's chapter 18, section 7, page 388 of the Foundation of Inner Peace version. I need do nothing. You still have too much faith in the body as a source of strength. I'm just going to focus on this first couple of lines in this section for our first meditation today. So sit quietly with your eyes closed and just listen. You still have too much faith in the body as a source of strength. Just think about that. What plans do you make that do not involve its comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way? Now, our first meditation is going to be about this question. What plans do you, what plans do you make that do not involve its comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way? I want you to just sit quietly for 5 minutes and think about all the plans you make for you as a body that involve its comfort, its protection, and its enjoyment. This is not a judgment on you, by the way. This is just so that we can really see what we're doing through this meditation. What he's asking us to do is just to look at what we're doing, not to judge ourselves for doing it. So try to stay out of judgment and just look at what you do. So just in your mind, see what you do, all the plans you make for its comfort, its protection and enjoyment. Because we need to notice it to let it go. We're not going to let all of it go, right? I'm just going to explain as I go through a good way to really look at this. Just let's spend 5 minutes now not feeling guilty about what we're doing, but just be the observer of it. If you want to have a piece of paper and pen, you might like to write down the things that you're noticing. Okay. You still have too much faith in the body as a source of strength. What plans do you make that do not involve its comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way? This makes the body an end and not a means in your interpretation, and this always means that you still find sin attractive. So let's, instead of putting the word sin there, let's put the word the ego, body idolization, the world, something in the world, and without really knowing it, guilt. We wouldn't say we're finding guilt attractive because we don't. We're really finding in those things where we are trying to make the world and the body important to us to get safety and enjoyment and comfort for the body from the world. No one accepts atonement for himself who still accepts sin as his goal. You might say, who still accepts the ego's goals as his goals, the world's goals as your goal. That's the way to really help understand that when he says sin. No one accepts atonement. Well, read that. You have thus not met your one responsibility. Atonement is not welcome by those who prefer pain and destruction. So basically, when we desire and have all our plans around the comfort of the body, the enjoyment of the body, we're really listening to the ego, because the ego has its own plan for your salvation, and it's all about defending against something. If you really look at its plan, it's trying to defend against non-enjoyment, non-comfort, and non-protection. It's all its whole thought system and its plans always assume you are a body. The ego's thought system, always, every thought in that thought system maintains your body by saying you need protection, you need enjoyment as a body. So in spirit, in the infinite love, in mind, there is pure love and enjoyment. It's not waiting or trying to get something for the body. I'm just going to read on to in this second paragraph, Daniela, because I'm going to do another meditation. There is one thing that you have never done. You have not utterly forgotten the body. It has perhaps faded at times from your sight, but it has not yet completely disappeared. You are not asked to let this happen for more than an instant. Yet it is in this instant that the miracle of atonement happens. All right, so we're going to do this, but just wait before you try it. I just want to talk about this. So when he says it has perhaps faded at times from your sight, he doesn't mean it's faded from your eyesight. He means it's faded from your mind, your perception. Your sight is your perception, your egoic mind thinking about your body. So we are not asked to let this happen for more than an instant. So what I'd like you to do now is to sit quietly. Now, before we attempt this, I can reassure you that you're not going to disappear. You're still going to be here when you come back. So feel safe in this attempt. But what we're going to do, if you haven't already done this in your journey, is we're going to completely forget about ourselves as a body. Now it says for an instant, but I'll be quiet. I'll put the timer on for 2 minutes. And you can be safe in completely forgetting. So I want you to forget about yourself in everything. I want you to forget who you are. Just let all thoughts go about anything to do with yourself. Forget yourself as a body in a world, and just give yourself these moments, because you're on the Zoom group. There's nothing you need to do at the moment. We've got the time. So I'm going to start the timer, and if you can, try to forget yourself for 2 whole minutes if you can. You're safe. My voice will bring you back afterwards, and you can return to the thoughts that tell you you're a body. Here we go. We're going to do it. So I'll just read it. The one thing you have never done, you have not utterly forgotten the body. Right? So we're going to forget it. We're going to utterly forget the body for 2 minutes. Here we go. Okay, you can bring your mind back. I'm just curious. I've got about 24 images on the screen. I just wondered if you were able to get to that instant where you forgot. Can you just put your hand up? I'd just like to see how many were able to, for an instant, completely forget the body. Just keep your hand up. I'm just going to go on to the second page. Okay. That's good. Great. So probably about, I think, half, which is good. So for ones that put their digital hand up, you can put it down now. Thank you. That's really good. And if you weren't able to have a moment, there might have been some fear in your mind of what might happen if you can completely forget the body. But you've already got the validation now that there were some that completely forgot their body, and here they are putting their hand up, which is body parts, right? So you've got the validation. Nothing happens, right? All you do is it's going on in the mind. Okay, so the mind is free of thoughts about the body. That's all that's happening. It's free of fear. So for a moment, the mind is free. You will come back to, so what happens when you're what they call awakened or enlightened, which is just a recognition. That's all it is. It's simply a recognition. You could say a recognition of lots of things, like a recognition that there's just oneness, or a recognition you can recognize the ego thoughts as not your thoughts. So there's a lot of recognizing going on in what you call enlightenment. So I remember I had that first time I had that experience of not being a body. I was sweeping the floor one day, and I've been really asking the Holy Spirit to help me with my, I was in such fear all the time, which the world calls anxiety. And for an instant, my mind just stopped. It was probably only 2 or 3 seconds, but I had that holy instant where there was just no thoughts. And so it will come. It'll come to all of us. And we can talk to the Holy Spirit like a really good friend that's here to help us. Even if we feel we can't hear the Holy Spirit, you can just keep calling. Because with the Course, what we're really trying to do, he's trying to get us to resign our own teacher. So in other words, we really have to call out to the Holy Spirit or Jesus and just say, look, I've got no idea how to do this. I don't know how to get into this holy instant. If you were feeling like, I don't know what Kate's talking about, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do it, my mind's just going full pelt for the last 2 minutes. You can just ask the Holy Spirit to bring the holy instant to you and just let go. So you're not failing. There's just a lot of fear, and maybe sometimes we're trying to do something. So please don't feel that it didn't work. It will come. All these things that he talks about in the Course will come, and we each have our own individual curriculum and way he works with us. So, and you might find that just today it's been difficult, but it could be tomorrow or a week or a month or a year or 5 years where all of a sudden you just feel more willing to do it. And what happens is we have more and more willingness, as we get more and more fearful, that's what happens, because we realise that there's nothing that can outwit the fear in our mind. The fear ramps up, it gets worse. And there's nowhere to go. You'll try to do all the things to counteract the fear, but fear cannot be counteracted by the fear, by the ego. The ego has many plans to counteract the fear. And if you follow its plans, it never works. And it says that you are, the ego gives you a plan that won't work. And then when it doesn't work, it says that you're guilty or sinful. And that's why it didn't work. It has many disguises and many tricks, right? That's why Ken Wapnick always says, look at the ego without judgment, right? Because what happens is we look at the ego with the ego, which is a funny thing. It's like a double whammy. You could think of yourself as getting bopped on the head with the ego thought that, you know, says how to find happiness in the world. And then when you don't find it, the ego bops you on the head and says, yes, well, that's because you're guilty. You're never going to find happiness. So that's what you can notice. You start to notice how the ego works. And this is what I'm explaining now, is you can see it. You can see, yes, I feel like my thoughts are saying, find another relationship. There's another loving relation. There's someone better. There's a better job. There's a better place to live. There's a better environment, better weather. Always searching for getting something for the body. These are the plans that it makes, right? And then when it doesn't work, the ego comes in with its second thing and says, well, you know, you're terrible, you're bad. That's why it didn't work. You're hopeless, you're guilty, you know, you're fucked. I mean, I don't like to mince words because that's the way the ego talks, right? It's the most vicious voice in our minds. It's the most hateful, murderous thought system. And it never wants you to see that it's not true. The only way we can really see the ego as false is by resigning as our own teacher, because otherwise we're constantly using the ego to try to outwit the ego or get rid of the ego. It doesn't work. We have to completely surrender. We have to really, really surrender ourselves and say, I can't do anything about this fear. I have to go to Jesus and ask him. And, you know, here's Jesus giving us a course. He's dictated this course over 7 years to someone that was open to hearing the words that he wanted us to read. And so why are we trying to do something else when all the instructions are right here? Am I doing the lessons as he asks? He doesn't say to understand. He's not saying, hey, I want you to do lesson 1. I want you to completely get it and understand it and feel happy. He's telling us, you will not understand this lesson. You won't get it. You just won't understand it or get it. He's telling us to do it. He's saying, do the lesson, repeat it, apply it, do it, repeat it, apply it over and over. And then there becomes a tipping point where understanding comes in. And it's, when I say understanding, it's like the mind's starting to shift. So like I made the fatal mistake for 14 years trying to do the lessons and just say, I'm not getting this, I'm not understanding it, I'm not having any experience of it, and putting the book back on its shelf, getting it out again a few months later because I had this very strong intuitive feeling when I got the book that this was for me and it was for my way to peace. And it was only when I joined a Course in Miracles group where I went to facilitators of the group that, of course, me rushing through the course, didn't read the instructions, wanting to get everything really quickly and do it all. And kindly the host said, no, Kate, you don't understand it. You just have to do it. And of course, it's written there. So we have to tell ourselves, we have to do it. And if you didn't find any experience today, there'll be a time where you feel ready to do this again, and just sit quietly and forget the body. And you know what he says, an instant. And you know what's an instant like in time? It could be half a second or a second, and you only need that. So he says, afterwards you will see the body again, but never quite the same. So it just means that its value, well, your value of the body will not be the same, because you're going to realise that you're that thing that was out, that didn't have the body in it, that part of your mind that completely forgot the body. That's what you are. But the reason why I wanted to explain a little bit more of this is that you will still have the experience of the body in your mind. But as he goes on to say, it's going to have another purpose. Because once you get to God's love, and once you realise that the joy and the peace and the love is within you in your mind, you can still, you know, have the breakfast you like and the food you like, and, you know, if you like to sit out in the sun in your garden, you can still do things like that. Or if you still like to do a particular job, you can do that. But what you always want to hold in your mind is, if I couldn't do this, would I still be peaceful? And if the answer is yes, then it's being held very lightly, right? We never want to hold on to anything we don't want to grasp hold, becomes an idol, right? There's nothing wrong with enjoying things in the so-called dream world. So, but just notice if there's a grasping or an attachment to it. And you'll find sometimes that thing that you like, there's times when you can't do it, or you can't eat it, or you can't go to it. And there has to be an inner peace around it, because we have to remember that what the body does, or where it goes, or what it eats, isn't where our happiness is, right? So that's what I like to share, because I heard a teaching, have no preferences, but the Holy Spirit corrected in my mind, and he said, you can have whatever preferences you like, but just don't have them as idols. And that felt really good, right? If you like a soft bed or a hard bed, or a particular pillow, anything that is comfort for your body, just have it, use it. You don't have to say, right, I've got to get the opposite pillow to what I like to teach myself to go without this idol. No. But if you're traveling around, or your house gets flooded, or there's a hurricane or something, and you can't have that pillow, and you go to a shelter and you've got something else, you can be peaceful knowing that whatever pillow you sleep on, you'll be all right. Now, sometimes you can practice. I did a lot of practices years ago to actually let go of some of the things that I felt attached to as having idols. And I did shake it up a bit, but that was just for a short period of time. And you can do that as well. You can, if you attach to one side of the bed, go sleep on the other side, if you feel you've got some attachment. But really, you only need to let it go in your mind. Right? Remind yourself that happiness is within you. It's not what pillow or food or job or friends you have. So hold it lightly. Let yourself have some preferences. We all do. And Jesus doesn't, say, oh, you're bad or guilty for wanting to eat a certain thing a certain way. He's not asking us to do that, but he's asking us to not hold on to them as idols. Right. So even when we have our morning routine, he gives specific instructions of our morning routine, but he says, do not make them into idols where you say, oh, I'm not going to have any peace unless I meditate or do my lesson. I have to read my lesson in the morning. Now I've got to get up early and catch a plane or something like that. And you feel out of peace because you've made an idol of it. So he's giving us lots of things in the course. And, it's really lovely. It's such a gentle way to live, to not make yourself wrong about anything, It's peaceful. I'm getting tears in my eyes now. It's so lovely, right? Because the ego is harsh. The ego says you shouldn't have a preference. This is an idol. You better let it go. The Holy Spirit just says, okay, let's look at this together. You can have that. But if you go somewhere and you can't eat it or drink it or be with this person or in this house, or you'll be fine, because peace of God is always within you as your changeless self. So that's the way I live in the world now. This is my experience, and it's very lovely and very gentle and very kind. I'm not trying to deny anything, and I'm just, have no attachment to anything. And I make sure I stay that way, because if the minute you have an attachment, you make the world real and you bring back the ego mind, and then you suffer. You don't realise it, but you've just moved into hell. So, Daniela, would you just like to read paragraph 3 of this section? Thank you.
Thank you. At no single instant does the body exist at all. It is always remembered or anticipated, but never experienced just now. Only its past and future make it seem real. Time controls it entirely, for sin is never wholly in the present. In any single instant, the attraction of guilt would be experienced as pain and nothing else, and would be avoided. It has no attraction now. Its whole attraction is imaginary, and therefore must be thought of in the past or in the future.
Okay, so what this teaching is telling us is that the way we think about our body is always from the past, right? So if you just close your eyes now and you let go of all past ideas about your body, just let go of everything you've ever thought about your body. Free your mind of it. If you can, you should just go pretty much into that space you were before in the last meditation. This can really bring startling results when you see it. So with our body, the idea of our body, we think it's real, but what we really are starting to see now are its reality is actually only coming from these ideas about it from the past. So if you've had past ideas that it's a good body, it's a sick body, it's a healthy body, it's a fit body, it's an ugly body, it's a short or big or tall or fat or old or bent over body, or it's an amazing body, you know, any type of description or idea about your body that you've thought about it, maybe even that it's weak. Let go of everything now. Just let all those ideas go. Just see if you can reach an emptiness. It is impossible to accept the holy instant without reservation unless, just for an instant, you are willing to see no past or future. So if you've even got some thoughts about, oh my God, what will my body be like in 10 years' time because I've got this particular illness now, and you're projecting, seeing something of yourself in the future, let go of that. Try to identify any past or future ideas about your body. Let them all go. Am I willing to see no past or future? Just let it go. Release is given you the instant you desire it. Tell yourself you desire just to have this holy instant where you're free of body thoughts. If one comes in, just let it go. State your willingness. I desire the holy instant. I'm letting go of all past and future thoughts about this body. I'll just give you another few minutes to keep practicing letting go. Just keep letting them go. Any thought that comes into your mind, just say, let that thought go. Okay, so that is a practice. These are practices that you can use. And because this is a recording, you can listen to it back and redo these practices anytime you like, or you can make some notes about the recording, your own notes, and you can read through this section again and do them yourself at home or together if you want to get together with a few other people and say, let's do these little practices in this section. Just going to read on a little bit further down the page. I'm going to be reading from paragraph 5, sentence 7. When peace comes at last to those who wrestle with temptation and fight against the giving in to sin, when the light comes at last into the mind given to contemplation, or when the goal is finally achieved by anyone, it comes with just one happy realization: I need do nothing. So in this section, which I don't want to go through in detail because I just feel not to concern myself with it at the moment, he's talking about people that spend a lot of time in meditation and contemplation. He's telling us that in his course, he's using a holy relationship as the means for us who are doing the course. And so the holy relationship is using the Holy Spirit to relate. That's it. If you can relate to everyone and everything through the holy mind, the Holy Spirit, you're in a holy relationship. When you're relating to what you call people through the ego, you'll be in specialness. The ego demands specialness. That's its whole part of its thought system. Remember, the ego is a thought system. It's a bunch of thoughts that all have separation and specialness. Right? It's just we're listening to a thought system and we don't need to. All we need to do is move across and move into the other thought system, which are our right-minded thoughts, which are all the lessons of the course. So if you repeat the lessons of the course and use that, you're in the Holy Spirit thought system. That's why repeating and practicing the course lessons is putting all the right-minded thoughts in your mind, and eventually they all come to bring in knowledge. They're going to flower. It's like you're planting seeds in the garden of your mind when you do the lessons and repeat them. And then you water them each day with more thoughts from the Holy Spirit, from his course, from the Course in Miracles lessons and text, and any other books that are really good to read around the course. And you're watering and they're growing and budding, these thoughts. And then one day they all bloom and your mind is just filled with love, filled with the perfume of God's love. And you feel it utterly effortless, and there's no ego thoughts in there. There's no weeds. And when a weed tries to come up, you just pluck it out. And he even says in the course to pluck that thought out of your mind. So with I need do nothing, here is the ultimate release, which everyone will one day find in his own way, in his own time. So this is for us, right? In our own way, in our own time, because he says in another part of the course that this awakening that we're going through has already happened, but we seem to have to go through what seems like going up a ladder that we came down. You do not need this time. Time has been saved for you because you and your brother are together. This is the special means this course is using to save you time. You are not making use of the course if you insist on using means which have served others well, neglecting what was made for you. So the fact that you're here in A Course in Miracles group means that you're very attracted to these teachings and they're there for you. Save time for me by only this one preparation and practice need doing nothing else. I need do nothing is a statement of allegiance, a truly undivided loyalty. Believe it for just one instant, and you will accomplish more than is given to a century of contemplation or a struggle against temptation. To do anything involves the body. And if you recognize you need do nothing, you have withdrawn the body's value from your mind. So he's going to go on to say that, of course, we're going to do things. You know, we're going to go and make some dinner. We're going to get ourselves ready to go to bed. But what he's really talking about is we're going to let go of this idea that we need to protect and make sure that the body has lots of enjoyment in this protected. The things that he talked about at the start, it's comfort, protection, and enjoyment. We're going to cease doing that. So I need do nothing. I don't need to protect it. I don't need to give it all these vitamins. I don't need to eat a special diet. I don't need to spend thousands of dollars on meditation retreats. I don't have to do all this stuff for the body. He's telling us that the way to awaken for us is through the holy relationship with our brother. And we've already gone through so much in these groups about seeing your brother as sinless, using the Holy Spirit's and Jesus's perception of our brother, letting go of the idea that our brother is a body, seeing his sinlessness, his guiltlessness. That's the holy relationship, in not just in the Christ blessing, but in all the different ways he presents it in the Course. So if you can recognize you need do nothing, you have withdrawn the body's value from your mind. Here is the quick and open door through which you slip past centuries of effort and escape from time. He's telling us this is the quick way. If you've been using the Christ blessing, you probably have sped up hundreds of lifetimes, right? You're getting into that beautiful mind. This is the quick and easy way. This is the way in which sin loses an attraction right now. So this is the way body identification, this is the way the ego loses attraction right now. For here is time denied and past and future gone. When we let go of this idea about our body in the past and the future, we come into this now, which is like a holy instant where we're in the holy mind. And the holy mind doesn't know you as a body. It knows you as pure love. You're going to have this experience of just this absence of body concerns. And you just feel yourself light and effortless. For here is time denied and past and future gone. Who needs do nothing has no need for time. To do nothing is to rest. Okay, so at the beginning of this session, you looked at all the things you do for the comfort and the joys and, you know, what you think will bring you happiness, right, in and as a body. But what if you just let all those things go as important to make yourself healthy or happy, and you just rest? rest in the knowledge that you are spirit. So that's what he's trying to contrast in this section. He's trying to make you look at all the ways and the things that you do to make the body healthy, protected, all the things you concern yourself about. And he's asking you to just rest in the idea of being spirit, being love. So I'm just going to give you 10 minutes now to rest. So this section works in with I rest in God, right? I'm not just going to read a little bit and then we'll do the meditation. To do nothing is to rest and make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. Into this place, the Holy Spirit comes and there abides. He will remain when you forget, and the body's activities return to occupy your conscious mind. Yet there will always be this place of rest to which you can return, and you will be more aware of this quiet centre of the storm than all its raging activity. This quiet centre in which you do nothing will remain with you, giving you rest in the midst of every busy doing on which you are sent. For from this centre, this quiet centre, will you be directed how to use the body sinlessly without the ego. It is this quiet centre from which the body is absent that will keep it so in your awareness of it. So we're just going to focus on 10 minutes. Let's focus on this quiet centre. Let's really feel into this, pretty much the same meditation that we did before, where we let go of past and future thoughts, where we let go of body identification. Excuse me. Just think of this quiet centre within. Tell yourself there is a quiet centre within you that you can access. I let go of all past and future thoughts about my body. I let go of trying to figure out how to protect it and make it well with all the worldly things and the medicines and foods and places and whatever else I've been doing. For this moment, I just let go of everything, trying to figure out how to get my body well or happy or protected or strong. I let go of all ideas of trying to figure it out. And I just let go of everything. And I come now into this quiet centre and rest. Okay. So we'll finish up the group shortly. So just a summary of today is that we don't need to spend lots of time trying to protect or plan for the body's enjoyment or comfort. What he's saying, we don't need to do that. So in other words, that is, I need do nothing. We don't need to do those things. The only thing we need to do is let those thoughts about the body go, see them as past and future thoughts, drop in to the quiet center and just be and feel that protection and comfort and safety and peace in that quiet center, and then take that with us wherever we go. And then the body is then used for a new purpose, which is just to show up with the peace of God within us, where we don't talk about our plans for the body, where we let all that stuff go and we teach our brother that to get to the peace and comfort and sure protection is through identifying with that quiet center. So we heal our brother's belief that they need to seek and plan for their body. And we demonstrate another way. And by this demonstration and doing what Jesus asked us to do, and we have a healing of our mind, and our body has less focus in our mind. And we can see by the practicing of this that all we need to do is see our brother as sinless. And through that, we will come to experience our sinlessness. And when we're really immersed in that, what he calls God takes the final step is just this immersion into the infinite love. That we'll have our oneness in that. We'll feel ourselves being in that. And we'll look out at from that. And so that's how it works. And so we're given these really lovely little ways to practice it and have the experience of it. And if you haven't had the experience today, it will come. There is nothing to fear about God, because God is infinite love. And if you're fearful of God, you're listening to the ego. So let's just, to finish today, I'm going to let it unmute everyone and we can just express gratitude. So if you feel like it and you'd like to unmute yourselves, you can just express gratitude for everyone, for everything, God, or you can do it silently.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you, Kate. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank
you.
you so much. I needed this.
Thank you.
I need
Bless
you all.
you.
Thank
Gratitude
you.
to
Know
you
you.
for teaching
We're
us.
so
So much
grateful.
love and gratitude to you
Lord.
all. Thank you,
Thank you
Kate.
to
Thank you,
everyone.
Shen.
Yes.
To your
Thank you all.
presence,
Mm.
loving presence. Thank you.
Kate, thank you so much for tonight. This is a tremendous gift.
Mm.
Thank you.
And thanks, and thank you, Daniela, for reading.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Daniela.
Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you for your generosity.
See you next week, everyone. Love and blessings.
Love and blessing.
Thank you. Bye.